Hello and good global greetings, friends. Danelle Boyles here, coming to you from the United States with our topic and conversation of today, and let's talk about it. And today we are doing a brief review of the TEDx talk on Barbara Oakley and learning to learn. So, in Barbara's book and her core concepts, A Mind for Numbers and How to Excel at Math and Science, and then its popular companion that goes kind of hand in hand with it, The Learning How to Learn, Barbara Oakley takes a very essential second look at how our body and brain navigates the role and development of learning, and in how our human brain breaks down in the neuroscience of the practical adaptation of how to learn, actionable strategies, and how to master difficult subjects. So whenever she frames this, she talks about the two modes of thinking. Our brains operate in two distinct modes in effective learning that requires switching back and forth between them. There's focus mode, and this is tight, analytical, sequential thinking. It happens when you're intensely concentrating on a project or a problem or reading text, and it utilizes like pre-existing neural pathways that are for, probably I'm not going to say this word right, Einstellung effect, which that is something that I'm going to have to navigate a little bit more in and look into, because although I can break it down and kind of navigate the meaning behind it, I still would like to have the exact definition of how she is referring to it. So anyway, it's about getting stuck in a rut whenever you're looking at problems in like the wrong way, or in a way that your brain can't break it down. And then there's diffuse mode. This is a relaxed, resting state of neural networking. It happens when you let your mind wander, when you're in open conscious thought, times and moments when you're in the shower, or when you're lying in bed waiting to fall asleep, whenever your neural pathways have moments to completely open up and be aware of your own awareness and actualization. Being able to allow the brain to access a broader state of thinking rather than being hyper-focused on just a particular fact or topic or command. But, she identifies with a few other things like chunking, building neural pathways. It's an acronym for memory tracing. But realistically, her key takeaways are that real learning happens when you alternate between those two types of learning. And it's not something that you're always necessarily aware of, because as we move through our day, it just kind of happens in navigation between whether we're on or off. And whenever we're on, our pathway of thinking is different than whenever we are off. And that is just me giving you my own roundabout terminology of how you look at the different frameworks of thinking and how the brain works. But basically the takeaway is that when you utilize these two ways of thinking, it's more beneficial when you become aware of how the different ways that the brain works and what the outcome of your different frames of mind is going to give you. That whenever you utilize one, it's going to give you a particular response, your reaction, I guess, or the outcome is going to be different than when you're utilizing the other frame of thinking. Whenever you're trying to combat things like beating procrastination, or utilize like key retrieval with memory strategies, different approaches like that, being aware of how it works will navigate your way that you approach your own thinking and your own outcome to these processes. And so she also very much talks about the importance of sleep, which we all know the importance of sleep is important. This is not something that is new to us. We're not benign to the fact that sleep is a completely necessary part of our human design dynamic, that we need sleep in order for our brain to function properly and for our different pathways of thinking to function properly. But sleep is not dead time, as a lot of individuals think. Whenever you're asleep, you're just out. Your brain is flatlined and it's not functioning, that it's just resting. And this is, entirely not true. There's so many studies that are being conducted now that are showing how the neural pathways are very active and firing even whenever we're asleep. So when you're asleep, your brain cells, they physically shrink though. And this allows your fluids that are rushing and swirling through the cerebral cortex and through your spine, it allows it to decompress and allows those neural pathways to relax. And so whenever that happens, it shrinks, and toxins that are built up in those neural pathways during waking hours, because of the very strategized way of thinking, it is almost like it creates inflammation reduction. And so when that happens, when you are in the mode to prepare for sleep, that is when you have very open, broad, fluid ways of thinking that helps you with expanding your thought process, and you have more ideas and you have more creativity. And so then that is what she is leading up to, an example. And the way that I discuss these things, this kind of stuff really gets me going. And so I can really get off topic, but I try and keep these short, brief, under about 10 minutes so that your attention span doesn't go to sleep. And so if you're looking to really adapt your processes of when and how you are brainstorming or looking to be your most creative, those moments whenever your brain is relaxed and you're out in the astral and you're not fully tethered here to earth, that is when you are accessing those very creative points, and you have sometimes a different type of capacity for creativity and for thinking. But anyway, that's about all we have time for today. But I just want to leave you with, be open-minded to the different ways that you learn and think. And whenever you become aware of your own thinking and how it happens and how it's projected, then you obtain a much more broader understanding of where your ideas and your creativity come from. So anyway, sleep is important. Different ways of thinking is important. The way that you utilize it, the way you navigate it, all of it encompasses the beautiful, amazing dynamic of human design and the neural concepts, and that they should be explored. So go take a peek at her TEDx talk. You can find it on YouTube. Again, it's Barbara Oakley, and that's all we have for time for today. And I wish you all well, and continue learning and expanding, and take care. Peace. Namaste.